Appreciate all of you coming to join me here today. Welcome to the Finding Phoenix webinar. Tonight we're going to be talking about turning points both up and down and how to pick stocks. So right away, thank you, Candy. So right away, I see a bunch of questions. Let me just tell you that it's a lot easier for me if I can just go ahead and get through the meat of the presentation. There will be a couple different places that I will stop and ask for questions. So just go ahead and hold on to those for just a minute. And I'll let you know when I can get to all of those at the same time. But thank you so much for spending your evening with me. Let's go ahead and talk about what you're going to learn today. So very quickly, I'm just going to go over a little bit about me, and then we're going to get into the real meat of the presentation. So what is that going to be? Number one, which is actually number two, money flow and turning points, why this is so critical in the market and why you need to be able to recognize it as a trader. The next piece of that is going to be how to use Phoenix to get in and out before everyone else. Because of course, in trading, what you need to do is to be able to act on ideas before the majority of people catch on to them so that you can be able to make your money. We're also going to go over some case studies and the Phoenix Folio. The Phoenix Folio is my favorite part. This is a comprised list of stocks that I have gone through, and I have picked these out just for you to set up the Phoenix Folio, and this is basically the gold mine and where you look for those stocks. So the most important part of this is how you find the Phoenix. So we'll go ahead and get on to that. So for those of you who know me, thank you so much. For those of you who are in the chat every single day with me. For those of you who do not know me, my name's Danielle. This is me when I was learning how to trade back in the day. I was listening to John Henry. I was, in the background learning from the chat room, just as all of you are. But now this is where I'm at 6 years later. It's really exciting. I love being here, teaching people how to trade every single day. I was a contributor in John's book. It's a lot of fun for me to do the TV segments and be able to give my analysis in a little bit of a different way. But overall, that's just a little bit about me. Sorry. Anyway, so why do I do it to begin with? Well, number one, I used to be an elementary school teacher. I lived on the beach. I made $2 an hour. Sometimes I think back to those days when I get a little bit stressed out and the market's driving me nuts, and I wonder, why am I doing this to begin with? But you know why? This is why. Because at the end of the day, tomorrow is important. When you're 21 and you live on the beach, tomorrow isn't something that you worry about. But when you have kids, when you have a husband, when you have a family, at the end of the day, what you want to do is to be able to you want to be able to grow in your profession, grow as a person and as a trader, and you want to be able to create that life around you. So this is why I do it. Why do you do it is what I really want to know. Find the Phoenix, move to Arizona. I've been to Arizona before. It's a little bit hot there for me. Thank you. Yeah, one cute Batman. So let's go ahead and talk about the turning points in this market. And this is a little bit of a situation for me because in coming into this market, I've always been a trend follower, and identifying turning points was something that honestly I wasn't really that interested in, but especially over the course of the past couple of years, what I have learned is that you absolutely must be able to identify the turning points in the market. And if you can't do that, you're going to be stuck on the wrong side of the trade over and over again. So what does that come down to? Well, We need to be able to find our edge, and markets are never going to go straight up or straight down. This is something that John says all the time. We're very familiar with this. And we talk about why we use the squeeze, okay? Why do we use the squeeze? We use the squeeze so that we can get into a momentum trade before everyone else, right? But that's the same thing. That same thought process goes for the Phoenix, okay? We want to use the Phoenix so that we can get into trades before anyone else, except for comparing it to, we're not looking at consolidation, we're looking at a trend follow. What we're looking at is we're trying to identify the fastest horse before it becomes obvious what the fastest horse is, okay? So let's talk about this for a minute and turning points. When the market is falling, everyone wants to know, when should I buy the stock at the discount? I mean, I can't even explain to you how many times I've been asked this question. How many times have y'all thought about this? When the market's falling, boom, boom, boom. Doesn't everyone think, hey, when can I step in and buy? Right? Oh, yes, buy the dip. Mm-hmm. Should be ceviche. Sometimes the graphics get a little bit twisted there, but it should be ceviche. Yep. You thought it was buy the freaking dip. Well, let me tell you, and I'll get into this a little bit more throughout the presentation, but for me, more than anything, I love buy the freaking dip. Okay, that's what I've grown up with. But the fact of the matter is the market is not always a trend following market. So you do have to be able to recognize the turning points. And when it comes down to it, we have to look at the way that the market was last year and how it's probably going to be in the future. And for me, learning how to recognize the turning points, it was kind of a pain. But now that I've done it, I can't go back. And so that's what we're talking about here tonight. So when the market is rising, everybody wants to know when I should take my profits. Of course, Fib. I'm never going to go back from that. I love Fibonacci, but there is also another way. So let's talk about the Phoenix and how it gives us an edge. Number one, Warren Buffett, okay? I'm sure everybody's heard of Warren Buffett, and everybody's heard of this quote: be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. This is something that John's had up in our office, and I've seen it so many times, but I don't know about you, but how many times have you thought, I want to do this, but I don't know how? Who, right? Yes, we can talk about PayPal. It's important to see the dip in the road ahead. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, I see yes across the board. And I've always wondered, okay, yes, that's a great idea and I love the quote, but how do we actually put that into action? Of course, everybody remembers, I mean, this was a pretty big deal. Christmas Eve last year, Dow's down 600 points, Nasdaq's down 140, S&P's down 65. In these instances, in the times that this happened last year, I don't know about you, but my main thought was, oh my gosh, I'm very used to a normal trend following environment. What should I do in this instance? Well, I'm here to tell you what you should do. You want to find Phoenix. That is the number one thing that you should be doing when the market takes a tumble like this. In this instance, and it doesn't really matter what the reason is why the market's taking a tumble. In this particular instance, it was because Powell and the Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, they had a couple comments, and it doesn't really matter. There's always a reason why the market's going to take a tumble. Our goal as traders is to take advantage of this price action and find Phoenix. So let's talk about how we do this. How many points is it going to fall next time? Well, we never know. But the key here is we want to be able to see the turning point happen, and we want to be able to make money off of it. So let's talk about trading reversals. Yes, I definitely will talk about defining Phoenix. I've had a hard time putting these events into the context of options. Well, definitely. We are going to talk about that. Yes, the markets are very news driven lately, but the fact of the matter is, and I do a lot of macro analysis as well, and I'm not going to tell you that macro is not important. What I'm here to tell you is that when a macro event or when a bigger picture idea happens and the market goes into a tailspin, there's a way that you can act on that on a technical basis, and this is it. So it's not that macro is not important. It's just that within this 1 hour that we have tonight, we're going to be talking about how you act on those tailspins. So let's talk about trading reversals. Number one, big picture. Where do I begin looking within the market? That's very, very critical to my overall trading strategy. Number two, what are the heads up sectors? What do I look for to tell me that the market is on a turning point as a whole? Number three, let's look at market shifts and money flow. Do not get left behind. And then number four, of course, money flow and why it's so critical to find. So let's go ahead and move on. So there's a couple different turning points in the market, of course, based on the trend. So let's go ahead and talk about this one first. The turning point at the lows. This is exactly what we're talking about with that Warren Buffett quote, okay? When you want to be greedy when everyone is fearful, and it's difficult to do, but we can do it. So when the market's trading lower, 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 how do you know where to strike? At peak emotion. How do you do that? Well, let's talk about that. We don't see other people's questions, so why answer them? Well, I'm definitely going to answer the questions. I'm just trying to keep a little bit of a flow here, and then I will get on to answering some questions. So let's talk about the legend of the Phoenix. What is the Phoenix? So first of all, the reason why I came up with this name is because what we're doing here is we are looking for the strongest stocks. We are looking for those stocks that no matter what happens, it doesn't matter if Powell comes out with some comments, it doesn't matter what type of tweet comes out, it doesn't matter news from North Korea, whatever it is, whatever is in the news that sends the entire stock market lower, okay? Doesn't matter. These are the stocks that are going to first rise up. Yes, they're going to fall. They fall a little bit. That's great. But you know what that is? That's a discount. Okay. And when they do that, what we need to look for are the stocks that rise from the ashes first. And this relates back to the Phoenix, because what is the Phoenix? This is the bird that is also said to regenerate when hurt or wounded by a foe, thus being almost immortal and invincible, a symbol of fire and divinity. Now, we'll never tell you that a certain stock is invincible, but I think that the comparison is absolutely amazing because at the end of the day, there are a lot of events that happen in the news and in the market that will bring stocks lower, but at the end of the day, the fundamentals are strong, and these are the stocks that are going to rise from the ashes. So what we want to be able to do is identify those so that when they trade lower, we can buy them at a discount. So let's talk about missing upside moves. How many times have you looked at a stock that is trading strong and said to yourself, wow, that was a great move and I completely missed out. I wish I would have noticed this earlier. Yes, that's how I came up with the name. I was actually where I came up with the name was talking to Jack, actually one of our traders, and I was showing him how the tool works and everything, and we talked through it and we came up with it together, and he said, wow, that's a Phoenix. So anyways, I don't know about you, but it's happened to me before. We can go back to a couple different examples. Here's an S&P 30-minute chart. And the thing about this is you can look at any chart on any time frame, but at the end of the day, the entire point is that when the market is falling, what you want to do is you want to discount. I don't know about you, but I love sales. I love discounts. And what you want is you want to buy something that is quality that's on sale. You don't want to buy something that's terrible, right? So you want to be able to recognize when a specific stock starts to shift back to the upside so that you can buy it when it's at a discount. And that's the goal here. So here's another example within XLY. Can you still hear me? So here's another example within XLY. XLY is one of my favorite sectors, very, very strong overall. And every single time we pull back, it gives me another buying opportunity. XLY is the consumer discretionary sector. And what I want when this sector pulls back is I want to be able to identify which stocks I should buy. Overall, Nike, Starbucks, and TJ Maxx are my absolute favorites. The next piece of this is looking at the sector spiders as a whole. Okay, so here's the SPX on a 78-minute chart, and everybody can relate to this, right? When the market's pulling back, what do? Well, you want to look for your areas of strength, okay? And one of the best ways to do this is you can come and look at the comparison between the different sectors and say, which sector is starting to trade higher first? The market's always going to pull back. It's always going to give you a good entry, but you want to know which sector is starting to trade higher first. And this is something that we can see throughout this. It can also show you trend shifts over a larger time frame. This is the communication sector on a daily time frame. Something that I was doing previously with the communication sector was I was shorting it every time it reverted back to the mean. But what Phoenix started to show me was that this sector was gaining strength and gaining money flow. And you can see that through the shift of the red to the green, plus the overall buy triggers within this row. And you can see the trend shift in money flow coming in to this sector, but it also tells you which stocks within the sector you should focus on. Looking at tech, everybody's interested in tech, right? So looking at XLK, the technology sector as a whole, one might ask, hey, I want to buy some tech stocks, right? It's a pretty normal question. But at the end of the day, what you want to buy is you want to buy the strongest in the bunch. You don't want to buy the weak one. You don't want to buy the laggard. You want to buy the stronger ones. The ones that gain relative strength first, the one that gains some buying power first, are the ones that you want to buy. Those are your strongest bets. Next slide, American Express. Can you, and I know that we haven't really gone through how to read this and everything like that, but this is a slide of the financial sector, okay? Looking at the financial sector, you can see overall you have a lot of red, right? You can see a lot of red overall, but what I can tell you is that American Express, you see green, 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 buy, buy, buy. Why do you think that is? Because it has a very strong trend. Anybody notice the Phoenix on the last slide? So what the Phoenix is, essentially, it's the strongest one out of the bunch, okay? American Express is a standout in the financial sector right now, and that is why I call it a Phoenix. So let's go ahead. Yes, Southwest does have the best points program. We love Southwest. So let's talk about this. Right now, what is working? Finding Phoenix stocks. Of course, they're easy to see after the fact, but that's not what we're after. That's not how we make money. We want to identify when they're showing their strength and when they rise from the ashes. Why? That is how we make money. All right, so I see a ton of questions right now. So a lot of the questions that I'm seeing, we are going to get to that. So just give me a few minutes and let me go through the next 15 minutes or so. And I promise you we will get to those questions. Yes, I will show you some trades that I put on with this. Yes, stay focused, I will. Okay, thank you. So why is it critical to spot strength? Spotting the turning point first only applies to the strongest stocks. You'll get, if you get in early on a weak one, and this is very, very critical, okay? If you get in early on a weak one, most likely it just keeps going down. So what you don't want to do is buy the laggards. This is actually how I came up with the tool, and throughout using this process, I have determined what are the absolute best picks to make. So this will happen again, and most likely multiple times this year. There are going to be times where for whatever reason, the market is going to roll over and die. But what we need is a market plunge game plan. We need to be able to identify when you need to take profits or not to open trades, identify where money flow is flowing in or out, and when you should stay in or get out. So let's go ahead and talk about the turning points at the highs. So there are different turning points, right? Turning points at the lows, turning points at the highs. Let's talk about this one right now. Turning points at the highs. You absolutely have to know when to take profits when everyone else has FOMO. When you are a good trader, that means that you are getting into a long trade before anyone else can really recognize that it's going higher, okay? Once the stock starts trading higher, everyone else around you starts saying, oh my gosh, oh, this looks like a great buy. Yeah, I know, we got into it a week ago, whatever. That's generally how it goes, right? So the moral of the story is when you are already in a trade, you get into a trade down here, it starts going higher, other people start saying, oh my gosh, I should buy it right at this level. You need to be able to recognize when you should start to get out, okay? So how do we know? Well, trend continuation is great until the turning point. Sometimes the market seems to go up forever. Anybody remember January 2018? You need to know when to take profits so you don't get left behind. Now, I'm not here to tell you the exact penny, to the point where you should take profits, but you can absolutely see where the trend is starting to shift. So what do we look at? Well, number one, we can look at overall weakness within the market, and that will show throughout a trend shift. A strong market will carry most stocks higher, but big money knows what stocks aren't solid bets. So using Phoenix will show you where the weakness is, and we can use it on both sides of the market. So take, for example, this is a current shot of the S&P futures that I took today in this market. And looking at this screenshot, I mean, you can see that the market's traded higher pretty much since December 26, 2018. So for those of you who follow me in the trading room, pretty much on a daily basis, I say, hey guys, the market's trading higher. It's been trading higher since the end of December. We're going to keep following along this path until it changes. But when, right? This is the question that we always have to answer, but when? And of course it can gap down, but at the end of the day, what we have to look at is the big picture, okay? So looking at the big picture, what are we trying to quantify? Well, we want to look across the indexes and across the major sectors and industries. So we've got the spiders, the diamonds, the Qs, the Russell, the transports, the housing sector, the industrials. And then we've got the US dollar, oil, bonds, gold, silver, but it's all here in one spot, okay? And I have remained long. Why? because I'm looking at the sectors at one time in a big picture. And as of right now, I can see that all of these are still trending higher. You can look at them on different time frames. You can look at a daily time frame. You can look at a lower time frame. And when you go down and look at a 78-minute chart or a 30-minute chart, this, for example, is a 78-minute chart, you can start to see a couple of the sectors that are losing their strong bullish trend and they're pulling back. Now, what does that tell us? Well, first of all, it tells us the sectors that are starting to lose strength, okay? But it can also tell us where we're getting some good pullback buys. So, you know, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is I used to do this across 6 monitors and multiple grids and screens at the same time, and now I can see it all right there in one glance. So it's starting to show me which sectors have money flow coming out, and you know, at the end of the day, what matters is if support is going to hold and if we're going to trade them, but that's a whole nother topic. So we'll go ahead and get into that. But looking at the materials sector, I wanted to show you the materials sector. Why? Because the materials sector has been one of the weaker sectors. And typically what I do in my trading is I start with the strong sectors and trade them to the upside, and then the weak sectors and trade them to the downside. Materials sector has been one of the weaker sectors. So within that, what I look to do, and you can see red, red, red across the board, it rallies up to resistance, and then what you want to do is short it at resistance, right? Because it's a weak sector. So Phoenix helps you find the weakest links and tells you when it triggers to the downside. So I just wanted to give one downside example, even though I do primarily like to trade the market to the upside, but works both ways. So what is another way that we can use this? Well, we want to know when to take profits, okay? So for those of you who know me, you know that I love to use Fibonacci and I love to combine Fibonacci with everything else that I do. So let's look at it this way. Well, first of all, smart money continues adding into areas of growth while pulling out of areas of weakness, okay? What we're essentially doing is we're just looking at this price movement over time and measuring in that. So how do we do that? Well, everyone wants to know what's it made of, and I've seen a ton of these questions coming across, and this is where we are getting to it, okay? I do not see XLB in the Phoenix folio. So I haven't added all of the grids to the Phoenix folio just yet, but I will finish adding those in the next 2 days. The ones that I added are the ones that make money, quite honestly. So thanks, Nancy. How do you pick the representative stocks in each sector? So I picked them based on the top weighted stocks, and then I narrowed them down based on the trend. So everybody wants to know what the Phoenix is made of. And this is a moment where I get to, I don't know, I guess humiliate myself a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's just the truth. So So I was honestly really embarrassed when John made a video about this indicator and he told the whole story behind it, because when I told John the story, I didn't realize he was going to make a video of it and push it everywhere, but that's fine. It's the truth. So do you know how you can spot a turning point with your eyes closed? So for those of you who know me, you know that I've gotten into this industry based on my dad. Okay, so this is my dad. He's the one who told me that I should start trading options, which I thought was ridiculous, but here I am. And I love it. So what did I start doing? Well, I started listening to John. I started listening to Carolyn. I started listening to Henry. This is actually really funny because this is the first time that I ever did the trading room with John. But the moral of the story is that I have watched John, Carolyn, Henry, Raghee, Neil for thousands of hours, okay? And I tried to quantify the amount of time that I have spent watching John. And I don't know if y'all feel the same as me, but how maddening is it when he just picks a stock and it just goes straight to the moon and you sit there and you wonder, how did he do that? Has that ever happened to you? Of course I listened to Darrell. That was how that was how it all began, Jeannie. Okay, so let me tell you this story that's embarrassing, but here it is. I've listened to John for more hours than I care to admit, but here it is all added up. This doesn't even count the amount of hours that I have spent trapping him when he tries to leave his office to eat lunch or go to the bathroom. And I say, help me, John. So I've watched him do this so many times where he comes in and the market's just going haywire and it's falling down and he comes in and buys something and then immediately, of course, the next day it's a great profit. And I say, John, I'm a trend follower. How did you do that? I don't understand. And you take these numbers and you multiply it by the amount of times that I've watched Henry, Carolyn, Neil, Raghee, and the rest of our trading team. And you got 10,000 hours of practice. So the moral of the story and how I came up with this tool was that I reverse engineered John's brain and I took the piece of Henry that loves the trend, and I took the piece of John that loves the stacked moving average, and I took the piece of Carolyn that likes the moving average cross, and I put it all together and I wanted to see it on one chart, okay? And I told Eric, this is what I need. I need all of these great minds in one place at one time, okay? I don't want to sit here looking at charts for hours on end. I want to do what every single one of them does, and I want to put it in one place at one time. And that's how we came up with the Phoenix Finder. He's pretty evasive at the office. Yeah, I have to trap him usually when he's trying to get lunch or something. So, because of this combination that I've come up with, what I want to see is when the equity indexes make a turn, when the sector ETFs make a turn, and which stocks are taking the brunt of the selling and which are holding up. So let's go ahead and look at those case studies that y'all wanted to see. I love those comments. The best of the best. Brilliant. Thank you, TNT. I appreciate it. So let's look at Phoenix Founded, okay? So here are a couple of the trade ideas from last week. We looked at Starbucks, we looked at Nike, we looked at Salesforce, we looked at Morgan Stanley, we looked at Glob, which is Globant, which I still think it's funny that their ticker is Glob, but whatever. ServiceNow, where are they now? So here are the couple of notifications from last week. Of course, we do post our notifications in the trading room. But I mean, I can't trade every single one, but I can tell you where the Phoenixes are and you can find them for yourself. So I don't know if y'all can see this, but last week we posted, hey, AVGO, Adobe, CRM, Cisco, PayPal. Henry has been all over PayPal. And if you look at this watch list and then compare it to what actually happened this week, here are the two rows, okay? These are the picks that we made last week, and here's the picks that we made this week. And then we're going to show you how they showed up on the Phoenix Finder. So 2 weeks ago, here were some Phoenix picks on pullback buys. Now, this is something that's very, very critical because you can't just use Phoenix and just buy something at any given time, okay? You need to use Phoenix to find the best picks, but you still have to learn how to get into it at the right time. So Here are a couple of the picks from 2 weeks ago. Nike, one of my favorites. This was the entry point, made new highs. Starbucks, made new highs. CRM, made new highs. Dollar General, this was in the Simpler Options free video from February 4th, I think, made new highs. Then we can look at the picks that we made last week. Phoenix picks on pullback buys. Here's Globant. Now, like I said, this trade is not closed yet. I'm looking to close it tomorrow. But overall, what it is, it's a very strong pick in a very strong industry that pulled back into a nice area of support and is trading higher. Cisco as well. Adobe and AVGO. So basically, I mean, what it does is it just helps you pick out the strongest picks in the bunch. Danielle, please don't share this with anyone else. We don't want the world to have it. It's so funny. If you still see the what is this made of slide, I would try to hit the refresh button and see if that would help you. Would an industry level be better? So in the webinar that I did last week, I talked about the variety of industries and sectors that I use. This week, I wanted to go a little bit more in detail with the different turning points and money flow. Okay, so I see a lot of questions. Let me just finish up the examples, and then I promise you, if you stick around to the end, I'm going to answer all of your questions. And also, at the end, we're going to give you a special download for a PDF that is how to make money with Phoenix. Yes, and the bonus list. So let me just go ahead and continue on, and we will get to all the questions. So next part here, this is really important, and this is something that our good friends, Mandy and Henry, have taught me very, very well. But you have to save your Sundays. When you have a career in the stock market, it's very, very, very stressful. And something that I used to do every Sunday was sit down, look at my computer, try to make my stock picks, do my research. You know what? I am done with that. You know why? Because now I have Phoenix. This is my son and my husband, and this is us at the blood moon. And I don't want to be sitting at my computer on a Sunday, okay? I don't want to be doing my research on a Sunday, and I doubt that you do either. So I don't know what you want to do, but for me, I want to buy an Amazon ranch. I call it that because this is John's Tesla ranch that he bought. And the way that we need to do that is we need to spend less time making all these picks and more time trading. So when I go back at the end of the day and I look at my life before Phoenix and my life after Phoenix, I mean, there is no comparison. So, before, and the thing is people are like, oh, this is a new indicator. Yeah, it is, but it's not new. This is the same process that I have done for several years. It's the same process John has done for years. All that it is a way to make it easier and look at it in one spot and aggregate all of that data. So if anybody's ever wondered how John magically spots relative strength from a watch list, well, boom, here we have it. At the end of the day, what we have is something that is easier. And when you take that and you combine it with a strong watch list, that's where the money happens. So let's talk about the watch list for a minute. Has anybody heard about the Phoenix Folio? How often do we need to check Phoenix, hourly or daily? So that depends on if you're a swing trader or if you're a day trader. But that's a brilliant part about Phoenix is that you can use it for day trading or swing trading. So let's talk about this. Number one, when I use Phoenix, I like to use her with a specific watch list. These are my favorite watch lists, okay? Depending on what type of trader you are, you can use it in different ways. So here are my favorite ways to use it. When you're trying to pick a stock, number one, you have to start at the very beginning, okay? You can't just, pull a stock out of nowhere. So you need to decide, are you a swing trader? Are you a day trader? And then you have to go from there. Are you a conservative trader or are you an aggressive trader? So here are my gold mines, okay? If somebody tells you where the gold mine is, it makes your life a whole lot easier, okay? These are my favorite mines. I have the Grandma Loves It list. I have the Phoenix Flyers list. I have the Dependable Dollars list, the Honey Badger Don't Care, and the Protect Your Assets. So let's go ahead and look at that. Number one, my Grandma Loves It list. This is my grandma. Her name is Jean, and she just had surgery, but she's doing awesome. She's 88 years old, and she loves picking stocks. And I call it the Grandma Loves It list because these are the stocks that are very familiar. Everybody knows their name, and they're strong. They're going to be around for a while, okay? But we still need to have a list of my favorite Grandma Loves It lists that are going to perform over time. So one of my favorite lists is the Grandma Loves It list. The next part, what is the best part about the Phoenix Finder and the Phoenix Folio? Well, we have the Grandma Loves It list, like we said, right? So if we go back, we have the Grandma Loves It list. We have the Phoenix Flyers list. The Phoenix Flyers, by the way, is going to be the list of, have you ever wished that you bought NVIDIA 2 years ago, 4 years ago? That's the Phoenix Flyers list. The Dependable Dollars list is the Millennials Loves It list. These are going to be the lists that overall, over the amount of time, people are going to continue buying into these stocks that are going to grow, but it's going to be slow and steady. We also have the Honey Badger Don't Care. These are the stocks that don't care what the overall market's doing. And this is going to be your hedging list. So all of these things are all going to come with the class. At the end of the day, we need to talk about what the best part about the Phoenix Finder and the Phoenix Folio list are, okay? The Phoenix Finder is the all-purpose tool to help you identify the turning points, all right? It can be combined with any trading strategy, Fibonacci, voodoo lines, anything that John does, Henry, David Starr. Really, it's just a stock picking tool. It can help you get into trades before it's obvious to others that they're winners, and it is based off a long-standing strategy and concepts. So, unfortunately, if it was easy, what would we do? Well, everybody wants to make money in a very easy manner without too much work, but what I would like to remind myself is that the man on top of the mountain did not fall there. I love that quote. Mandy put that up on our board and absolutely love it. So if you liked what I've shared so far, when it comes to learning a new strategy, it's pretty much impossible to show you exactly how it works in a quick 45-minute webinar. It takes dedication to first learn how the system works and when to apply it. And it requires real-time live market analysis in order to fully understand the functionality. So I'm going to be doing a deep dive into all of this on Saturday, and we'll have an opportunity to live trade together next week. And as a bonus, these are the new tools that I've included in the class. Here's a couple of examples from feedback that we've seen from traders who have already started using the tool. Hey, Danielle, I initially didn't expect to use the Phoenix for finding pullback buys, but it is great and it saves me time. So it really makes your life much easier to get one picture to compare at the same time. And I just wanted to say that I love your classes since joining on. I've been silently watching and following on the sidelines, and my account is up over 10% this week heading into your course. So looking at all of that, the opportunity that we have coming up this weekend is the Phoenix Finder class. The Phoenix Finder class comes with the trend strength candles. It comes with the Phoenix Finder indicator, or should I say the research tool. And it comes with 4 to 5 hours of myself on Saturday explaining how to fully implement and use this tool. So we have a couple different options here. We have the basic package that includes the strategy class and the indicator. We also have the pro package, which personally I think is the best bet, as it's only a little bit more, but it includes 2 live trading days. And if you're one of the 250 first people to purchase this package, which there's only a couple left right now, you'll be able to get a 3rd live trading day that is specifically focused on day trading. The next piece of this is the elite version. So how many of you have been able to attend a live mentorship in Austin with us? I mean, I personally love the live mentorships. That is actually how I went. That's actually how I was able to meet everyone on the team. And ironically, that was how I ended up getting the job here. But San Francisco was awesome. I loved San Francisco. So the last event that we had in San Francisco, actually loved it. I'm completely a West Coast girl. I'm from Seattle, but we had an event in San Francisco in October. The next one that we're going to have is in Austin. This is the elite package, and this is the first offering that we're having right now for our Austin mentorship. So the Austin mentorship comes in this package with my tool and with my strategy. And if you end up getting this package, you are going to get an hour with me at lunchtime in Austin in my special Phoenix Finder breakout session. I personally love the mentorships. Let's see, where am I in this picture? Oh, here I am. And, you know, I just love it because I'm able to sit down, talk to our members, figure out what people are looking for, what their problems are. We can put our minds together. And I mean, like I said, this is how I actually met John and met Henry and met Darrell at one of these mentorships. And that was what changed my life. That is how I ended up here in Austin talking to you here today. So I'm a little bit biased because I love the mentorships, but this is one package that comes with the overall mentorship. Beyond that, if you're not interested in coming to Austin, I do highly recommend the Pro package that comes with the strategy plus live trading. And if you're just not sure, we also have the basic package, which is the strategy package that comes with the Phoenix Finder tool. And married my wonderful husband, yes. Yes, Derek, of course. Can you go over the red and green spots in the indicator? Yes, I can do that. Okay, so now it's time for questions. So I'm ready for your questions and I'm going to knock them out. Is there a reason why you use the SPX and not ES? So with the Phoenix Finder indicator, you need to use, what you need to do is you need to use products that have the same trading hours. So you cannot compare the ES futures against stocks. So you need to compare the SPY or the SPX against different equity ETFs or stocks. And then if you are looking at futures products, you need to compare futures products that have the same trading hours, because that's just the way the indicator functions. Will this class be available on video if we're not able to attend? Yes, definitely. So everything that we do is recorded. We're like the NSA over here. So if you would like to attend the Saturday session, but you're not able to attend at that time, if you purchase it, you are able to attend that at any point in time that you wish. You'll receive the recording after it's completed, and you can watch it at your leisure. What are the live trading days? That is a great question. So the live trading days are February 19th and 20th from 8:30 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. and then 1:30 to 3 p.m. Central. And if you're one of the first 250, which we only have a couple slots left, you are also going to get a third day of live trading on February 21st. Would not miss Saturday for anything. Looking forward to it. Awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, that's a great question. We have been in a straight up market since December. JC is now talking about putting on some short SPY, which implies you think this market is going to pause or pull back. How will you use this tool to select which stocks to be in? So that's exactly what this is meant for, Bill. It's exactly meant for identifying the turning points in the overall market. So first of all, you can use the tool to identify overall which stocks or which sectors are remaining strong, but you can also use it to identify the turning points. So as of right now, here is a DIA chart on the 78-minute time frame, and what you can see based on the tool. And by the way, this is what I use for my research, okay? So it's not taking up my entire main screen, okay? I have a couple different monitors, and this is my primary research tool. But essentially when I'm looking at this, I say, okay, well, here's the diamonds, here's the spiders, diamonds, Qs, IWM, IYT. So what I'm looking for is an overall market picture. What is the market doing? Well, as of right now, it's going straight up, just like you say, right? So the way that you use this is you want to go down to the lower time frames, and this is something that we're going to drill down in the class. But you want to use the tool to identify when the sectors and when the markets start to shift, okay? So if you look at it right now on a lower time frame, you can see that the overall equity indexes are still trading higher, and you have some of your different areas of the market, oil, bonds, gold, silver, yen, all trading lower. So as of right now, that gives me the overall idea that the market is still strong, still trading to the upside. But that's why we have the Phoenix, because Phoenix can tell us when it starts shifting. As of right here, right now, today on February 13th, 2019, still pretty strong to the upside, but the second that it starts shifting, we'll be able to see that, because what will happen is, and you know, you can go down to a 5 minute, but a 5 minute's not really, I mean, it's not that critical for a swing trading. But what will happen is you will start to see the sectors and the indexes falling off, and you'll start to see some of these other areas of the market like gold, bonds start to trade higher. But that is one of the main uses for the Phoenix. Still not clear how the indicator will work. Well, basically what it does is you use it across different time frames. You look at different areas of the market. For example, the overall market picture, like I just showed, and then you also look at specific stocks and sectors to identify what are the strongest and weakest areas of the market, and then you buy or sell those ideas. So all of that, I mean, like I said, I cannot explain all of this in 1 hour, but basically what you're looking at are overall money flow and trend shifts, and you can identify that with the Phoenix Finder. For the Phoenix Finder, the stocks I'm interested in can be swapped in or swapped out, and new lists can be made, right? Yes, that's absolutely correct. So it's a great question. And overall, what I have done for the class is I've made a variety of different lists. So if I go into my different grids, I have a variety of different grids. And I have the Phoenix Finder Big Picture, the Phoenix Finder Cloud Kings, the Grandma Loves It list, the Semi list, the communications list, the financial list. Okay, so I have all of these lists and I've built them out and I'm giving them to you with the class. But at the same time, what you can do is you can personalize it. You can make it your own. If you want to make a cybersecurity list or whatever it is, you can make that. Is it available on TradeStation? Yes. Just want to make sure that you get the bonus. Okay, email me. Does the indicator add fib levels? So the indicator is based on the Fibonacci number series. As far as the trend is concerned, it does not include Fibonacci 1272 extensions, but it is based on the Fibonacci number series as much as the trend is concerned. How often do we need to use Phoenix, minutes, hourly, or daily? So it depends what time frame you're trading on. If you're a swing trader, primarily I use it on the daily chart, but that's also something that we go into the class, which is how to adjust it and use it on different time frames. If we cannot attend a live session, if we cannot attend the live sessions and trades are identified, will there be text alerts? Yes. Do gold members get a discount? So what they're doing right now is the discount is active for all of you as of right now. Normally this would be $7.97 and the discounted price is active for everyone right now until 12 o'clock on Saturday. So at 12 o'clock on Saturday, that's when this goes from $6.97 to, I'm not exactly sure, I don't do the pricing, but I think it goes up to $8.97 on Saturday. So right now, the price that you're seeing is a discount. Okay, somebody says they initially wanted to order the basic package, but want to change it to pro. Could you please email support@simplertrading.com? I got in late, but if you discuss this, what would you do if the green dots move to yellow dots? So the entire purpose of the tool is to show the shift in trend, okay? So it doesn't matter what time frame you're on, it doesn't matter what sector, anything. What you're looking for is a shift in trend, okay? And you guys know me. I love the squeeze. I love it more than anyone. I mean, this is what Henry has taught me from day one. But also something that's very important to our trading is a trend. And so that's why I wanted to take this and make it into a tool, because what I want to do is I want to look at the trend and quantify the trend. So the trend is quantified based on the green switching to yellow, switching to red, and then switching back to green. And that is part of what I teach in the class. So I see a ton of questions right now, and it's I'm trying really hard to get to all of them, but I do want to make sure that everyone knows that you can call our support number 512-266, and I apologize for my writing, 8659, and you can also email support@simplertrading.com. Okay, And you can also email Danielle at simplertrading.com if you have any questions. I'm trying to get to all of the questions, but what is the tool based on? It's based on overall trend, based on the Fibonacci series, moving averages, stock trend. Is there going to be a Phoenix scanner? Yes, we're working on developing that right now. Already registered. How do you go from ETFs to individual stocks? So let me go ahead and grab the doc here. So for all of you who have stayed till the end, you're going to get an email based on how to make money with Phoenix. I know this is a little bit small right now, but you're going to get this in an email and you'll be able to maximize it. But this is basically the Finding Phoenix 101. How do you start from the very beginning and how to find a stock from the overall big picture outlook to an individual stock? So I do want to make sure that I answer your question. But overall, what I do is I start with the big picture outlook with equities, bonds, currencies, metals, and commodities, and narrow that down to equity indexes. Then I look for specific ETFs, hot industries, and handcrafted lists, and I narrow that down to specific stocks. And that's exactly what I'm going to be teaching during class. Thanks, Candy. How do we get the download of the Stock Picking 101? That should be sent to you pretty much immediately after the webinar, if I'm correct. Where are the triangles that you mentioned? So a piece of the indicator, and I did get a little bit of feedback telling me that it's small when I'm trying to do the webinar. But when you get the indicator, you should be able to see it pretty easily yourself. But overall, what I'm trying to incorporate here is the overall trend following method plus the moving average cross that comes with the triangle. It's something that John uses, Carolyn uses, Henry uses. And I know it's a little bit small to see on the webinar, but overall what you're trying to do is you're trying to look at the index. So here's the SPX, and then I have my grid of the semiconductor stocks. So I'm looking at SMH. Semiconductor is one of my favorite industries right now. And I'm trying to compare when they have triggered to the upside. And the comparison is what is the strongest piece of this, because when you have different stocks that are triggering to the upside, what you want to know is what are the strongest that have triggered to the upside, okay? So what is triggered first? AMAT, AVGO, Cree, AMD. These are some of my favorites, okay? Xilinx, Intel. So what this tells me is after this downfall that we saw throughout December, smart money, they know what they're doing, okay? And the thing is like, we don't need to be hedge fund managers, okay? We don't need to manage $2 billion funds. It's not what we're after. I feel like that would be a lot of stress. But what we can do is we can say, okay, well, smart money knows what they're doing. That's great. I hope you guys are having fun in your, stressful life. And so what they do is they come in, and when the market falls like this, is they start to buy up these stocks that are on discount. So what we can do is we can compare those throughout a trend shift and say, what are they buying first? Intel, Xilinx, GLOB, MLNX was a little bit shaky, but we can also look at Cree, Intel. So that's the entire purpose of the indicator. And as you can see money flow coming into these different stocks and different industries, we can say as retail traders, all right, well, we can piggyback off of that. We don't have a $2 billion hedge fund, but that's fine. We can make some options trades and make money off of that. How does it determine money flow and trend shift? What it does is it compares trends across multiple stocks in multiple different industries. And then I also combine that with the VZO, which is the volume zone oscillator that adds in volume. And I'll teach that in the class. But overall, what it's doing is it's comparing the strength of the trend based on the Fibonacci number series and based on when you have moving average crosses to the upside. And based on the trend shifts, you can see which stocks are stronger or weaker. What do dashes, circles, squares, triangles mean? All right, so again, that's something we're going to go into in the class a little bit more, but essentially the color is pulled from the trend strength. It's very complicated, but essentially what it means is that the color is pulled from the trend strength candles, okay, which are based on the Fibonacci number series. So the colors populated down here. The dash is based on the color of the candle. The box is based on if the trend is in alignment. So when you have a dash plus a box, it's trend alignment. We're good to go to the upside. And the triangle is the moving average cross, which is the trigger to the upside. So I know it seems a little bit complicated, but once you start to look at it, it makes a lot more sense. And, you know, I have to tell you, when I was working with Eric on this, he's like, oh, I don't know that he's like, oh, I don't really know if I want to put all those ideas into one place. It makes it, you know, it's kind of a lot to put in one spot, but that's what I wanted to do, and he did that. And why did I want to do that? Because I have, you know, I have mentors that I've followed and that I've learned from for multiple years, and what I want to do is combine that into one piece. Because you know why? I don't want to be sitting there on a Sunday night trying to look at charts. I would rather be at a winery and hanging out with my husband and my son and my friends. So that's why. Can it be used for day trading? Yes, it absolutely can. So you can go down to the lower time frame chart and you can look at trend shifts on a lower time frame. You can look at 5 minute, 10 minute, whatever you want, and it will show you that overall trend shift. So the main thing about it is that you need to compare. The way that it works is it compares stocks across. I mean, you can change it to whatever you want. So I have different lists that I've pre-built. I have the Grandma Loves It list. I have the Millennials Buy It list. And I have all these different lists that I use. But at the end of the day, I mean, you can put in here whatever you like, and you can compare those and use it to find relative strength and the most significant trends. But yes, you can use it on a 5 minute time frame. You can use it on a daily time frame. All right, so what other questions can I answer for you? Since Danielle is going to share her screen, I don't need to install the indicator, just use the shared screen. So in the Phoenix Folio, once you buy the class, you are able to download my exact grid so that you're able to follow along exactly. Have you found that your Phoenix turning points correlate with Carolyn's fib support and resistance? Yes. So that is very, very critical to the strategy. So I love Carolyn. I love Fibonacci. I mean, anyone who knows me knows that I absolutely love these strategies. So what I have found is that using these strategies in combination with Carolyn's work are absolutely perfect. And the best thing about it is that you can look at this and you can, if Carolyn has 40 different setups, you can look at it and say, okay, well, which ones are stronger, which ones are weaker based on trend strength and relative strength. And so when Carolyn has a setup, you can come in here and you can compare it against the stocks within the sector or industry, and you can pick which one is the favorite. So, I mean, that's the best part about it. You know, you can compare, you can use it with multiple different strategies, ideas. Okay, the bars on the chart are not 10x momentum bars. What is the difference between the two indicators? So the 10x bars are based on momentum and conviction. So Essentially what you're looking for is momentum and conviction buying based on a momentum breakout with the 10x bars. What the trend strength candles are for and what the Phoenix Finder is for is you're looking for trend and you're looking for the shifts in trend. So essentially, and I love the 10x. I mean, I love it. It's a creation of John. There's nothing wrong with a 10x. It's just a function of when do you use which tool, okay? So when you're using the 10x is basically when you have momentum breakouts. When you can use the Phoenix Finder and the trend strength is when you're looking to identify turning points. So it just goes back to what you're trying to work on as a part of your trading strategy. Hey, Danielle, thanks for this. Just signed up. If this will be like your other classes, it will be great. Looking forward to it. Oh, thank you, Cliff. I appreciate it. The indicators are available on Toss or TradeStation. Oh, and also I just wanted to mention that there is a special indicator setup session tomorrow at 3 o'clock Central with Eric. It will be recorded. So if you end up purchasing the class tonight, you are going to have a special session with Eric tomorrow where you can set up all of the grids exactly like I have them, and he's going to help you figure out how to work the indicator. Yes, here is the screen again. It is going to be simplertrading.com/Phoenix. We have a variety of different packages. You can look at the basic package, which is going to include the strategy class and the Phoenix tool. It's going to be about a 4 to 5 hour session with myself on Saturday. The next level package that we have is going to be the Pro package, which right now is honestly the best deal because it's only a little bit more than the Pro package. And it's going to include 2 days of live trading. Also, we have a couple more slots left that are for the first 250 people who purchase the Pro package, and you're actually going to get a bonus 3rd day of live trading that's going to include a special day trading session. So those are the different packages. And then we also have the Elite package, which includes the Austin mentorship. So I love the Austin mentorship. If you purchase this package, you'll end up getting a special lunchtime breakout session with me. So make sure you check it out. All right, I'm scrolling through the questions. There's been a lot of questions. Make sure you stay till the end. That's when I'm going to share the checklist. Yes, I can do that. All right, so let me go ahead and get that checklist up. So how is the Phoenix different from your 5-star method? That's a great question. So overall, the 5-star strategy is based on a trend continuation strategy, whereas the Phoenix Finder is based on how to identify reversals. So it's a little bit crazy because I have not really focused on identifying reversals and turning points in the market because overall I have always been a trend follower, and I think that that's something that as you work on improving your trading strategy, I mean, starting out as a trend follower is pretty much it's the easiest place to start, and it's the spot that makes the most sense, right? But when you are improving and learning upon your journey, you really do need to be able to identify turning points in the market. And so that is something that I have been able to improve over time. And that is the next piece of the strategy that I'm bringing to you. Does that all make sense? Yeah, because I mean, I've really never, I've been working on my turning point strategy for quite a while. Can you tell us about the downside trends in February, October, and December last year? Yes. So I mean, any index, you can go back and you can use the Phoenix Finder to show you what indexes and what stocks started to shift over time. So you can see the high and the diamonds that came in at 269.28, and then you can scroll forward to see which ones were the indexes that started to shift previous to the high, which ones remained strong, and which ones were the weakest out of the bunch. But that's exactly what the Phoenix Finder is for. Will the live trading be recorded as well as the class? Yes. The Phoenix setup says that the expansion area needs to be set to 20 under the time axis tab. Can it be set to more? Yes. So you just need to set it to enough so that you can see the bubbles. Danielle, I don't know how you ever harnessed all of John, Henry, Carolyn, Bruce, or whoever, but it's brilliant. Well, that's why I added that slide of 10,000 hours of practice. It's definitely not all, but it's absolutely a piece of everyone. And, you know, I can't say enough how much I love every single one of my trading mentors and what they have given me. But that's exactly what I'm trying to bring to you here today. How many computers can you install the indicator? As many as you want. When you buy it, it's yours. Will you be showing us how the fib influence on the indicator? Yes. Does your son drink wine yet? No. Would it help to combine this with Raghee's work? Yes, definitely. Are your lists included? Yes, they are. Thanks, Danielle. Have to run. Looking forward to this Saturday. Great. Thanks, Danielle. Excellent. Relax. Have a good bubbly. Thank you. With futures, yes, you can use it as long as the futures are trading on the same trading hours. You can use it across Think or Swim and TradeStation. Danielle, I've seen your airline stock spot on RT about Spirit and Southwest. Tell that guy to get a new DO. That's funny. Materials look awesome. Thank you. All right. Well, I think that I have answered the majority of the questions here. I hope that I've gotten to everything. If I haven't been able to answer your question, please send me an email. So let me go ahead and write my email up here for you. Danielle at simplertrading.com. And then you can also email, you know, if you have a question about overall the system, support at simplertrading.com. And then I believe that Mandy has posted the phone number as well. But I really appreciate everyone spending their evening with me. You know, I promised that it was going to take about an hour. I use Thinkorswim. If you buy the package, do you own it? Yes. This is so amazing. I can't believe all of this info on one chart. It's brilliant. Hard work pays off. Thank you, Helen. In Saturday's class, does this involve setting the tool up? So that's going to be, Eric is doing a session tomorrow that's going to include how to set up the entire tool, but in the class documents, I have included my personal charts as well as instructions on how to set up the school, as well as how to set up the tool. Does this tool work with a JC squeeze? Yes, absolutely. The squeeze is the basis of everything that I do, but you also need to be able to stock pick. And so the two go hand in hand. The squeeze, like I said, I mean, it's the basis of everything that Henry, John, and I do. And so these two go hand in hand. You use the tool to find the strongest stocks, and then what you do is you look for the squeeze on those stocks, or you can do it the other way around. If you find a squeeze, you can use the tool to see if it's a strong stock or not. Does the indicator include dotted lines as well as the colored candles? Yes. The candles are just a bonus. The overall indicator is the Phoenix Finder, but we need the candles to power the Phoenix Finder, so the candles come with it. Great tool. I have been plugging Carolyn's watch list into your Phoenix to watch for triggers. Awesome. That's a great way to use it. Do you still use the older indicators of multi-time frame analysis and the Ready and Fire? Yes, I always use the Ready and Fire. Absolutely love it. Huge fan. The multi-time frame analysis is great, but it only works on one stock at one time. So just, I mean, the main difference is that with this, you can compare multiple stocks at the same time. But yes, I do still use them. Do you need to buy the trend strength candles separately? No, they come with the Phoenix Finder. What do you trade on live trading, regular stocks or index? So I do all of the above. I have a stock portfolio that I use. Darrell and I have been building a stock portfolio for our son. They're based on Phoenix Finder picks. And then I mainly do options on a swing trading basis, but I also trade futures and options on a day trading basis. You won't be available in the next 3 weeks, but you want to join the community? Excellent, Mandy. Well, send me an email. Send me an email, let me know. Okay, I think I got most of the questions, but I'm sure that there are some that I missed. So please send me an email, Danielle at Simpler Trading, or email support@simplertrading.com if you have a question. I appreciate all of you so much spending your evening with me and know how difficult it is to spend time away from your family on a weekend night. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you in the trading room tomorrow. Thank you.